Okay, quick test. If I said Strait of Hormuz right now, would you know what that is, or would you nod and quietly Google it later? Hey, no judgment. But today, we're fixing that, ladies and gentlemen, and a few other things happening in the world right now that everyone's talking about, and almost nobody can actually explain. So let's start simple. The United States and Iran have been in standoff for a long time. Iran has a nuclear program, and the US and a lot of the world doesn't trust where the program is headed. Things got hot enough that there was direct conflict, and now both sides are trying something different. They're talking. Right now, U.S. officials are meeting with Iranian officials to try or lock in what is called an interim deal. Basically, let's not blow this up while we figure out what the real agreement deal looks like. Think of it like two roommates who just had a huge fight, agreeing not to touch each other's stuff while they find the mediator. It's not peace, it's truce with a clipboard. And here's the part that should actually worry you, or at least have you pay attention. Some of the people closest to the situation think diplomacy is going to fail anyway, and the backup plan being floated isn't subtle. It's the US potentially taking control of something called the Strait of Hormuz. So what is the Strait of Hormuz, and why would anyone fight over a strait? Well, simply put, it's a narrow strip of water connecting two bigger bodies of water. The Strait of Hormuz connects the Persian Gulf to the open ocean. It's narrow, like you could practically throw a rock across parts of it. And here's the thing that makes it matter. Roughly a fifth of the entire world's oil supply has to pass through that one narrow gap to get to the rest of the planet. Picture the world's oil supply as one massive highway system. The Strait of Hormuz is the single one-lane bridge that almost all of it has to cross. You don't need to blow up the whole highway to cause chaos, you just need to mess with the bridge. And that's why this isn't just a Middle East story. If the bridge gets blocked, contested, or fought over, oil prices don't gently rise. They spike. Gas prices go up, shipping cost prices increase. Basically, everything that has to get shipped anywhere, it's a little more expensive. Including at your local gas station, which has nothing to do with Iran and everything to do with this tiny strip of water you probably never thought about. Meanwhile, while everyone's watching Iran, there's also a quieter economic war happening between Russia and Ukraine, and it's playing out at the gas pump as well. Ukraine has been hitting Russian fuel supplies hard enough that Russian-occupied Crimea actually to suspend gasoline sales to its own civilians. Let that sink in. You can win territory in a war and still lose the ability to put gas in your car, and that's the modern playbook. You don't always need tanks to hurt a country anymore. Sometimes you just need to make sure their gas stations run dry. Oh, and over in the UK, there's a political drama too. Because apparently the entire planet collectively decided this was the month for chaos. The British Prime Minister is facing a leadership challenge from inside his own party, and after his rival just won a surprise special election. In American terms, imagine your own VP publicly winning a primary against you while you're still in office. That's effectively the vibe. So why should you, sitting wherever you're sitting, actually care about any of this? Because none of these stories are isolated. A strait in the Middle East affects your gas prices. A fuel war in Eastern Europe affects shipping costs. Political instability in a major economy affects markets everywhere. Because in 2026, everything is connected by trade, oil, and a deeply tired group of diplomats who keep getting on planes. And here's how I'd boil down the whole situation at large if someone asked you at a dinner party and you had around 30 seconds to sound smart. Number one, the US and Iran are trying a fragile truce, but not everyone believes it'll hold. Number two, the backup plan involves a tiny strip of water that controls a fifth of the world's oil. So if talks fail, it's not just a regional problem, it's a global one. Number three, Russia and Ukraine are fighting an economic war over fuel, separate from the front lines. Number four, the UK is having its own leadership soap opera because, hey, why not? And none of this requires a political science degree to understand. It just requires someone to actually explain it instead of assuming you already know. And if this made things feel a little less like background noise and more like something you actually understand, Don't just sit there, subscribe. I break this stuff down regularly. No jargon, no lecture, and just headlines that finally make sense. So you can walk away a little smarter.